Hi all. In the last video, we discussed about what is meant by refraction. Then we discussed about some more things. Which are those things? We discussed about refraction of light through a glass slab. So today in this video, we will discuss about some practical applications of refraction of light and then what is meant by total internal reflection and its practical applications that we will discuss. Okay. So before discussing about the practical application of refraction of light, the light is traveling from one medium to another medium. That already we discussed, that bending of light as it travels from one medium to another medium is known as refraction of light. So as refraction is taking place, we have discussed that the speed of light is changing. So if speed changes, what will happen to the frequency of light? The frequency of light will remain same. When light is traveling from rarer to denser medium or denser to rarer medium, the frequency of light will not vary. Speed will change, correspondingly wavelength will change, but the frequency of light will remain same. So frequency is the one characteristic of light which does not change as light travels from one medium to another medium. Okay, is it clear? So frequency does not change with as it travels or as it goes from denser to rarer or rarer to denser. Frequency is independent of the medium, but wavelength will change. Correspondingly, speed also changes, but frequency remains same. Okay, and now we will discuss about the practical applications of refraction of light. Practical applications of refraction of light. So first of all, we will discuss about real depth and apparent depth. Okay. So what is meant by real depth and apparent depth? If you are viewing from a rarer medium and if you are viewing a denser medium, for example, if you see water in a tank, that water will be appearing to be raised or it appear to be shallower. Why? That only we will discuss. Okay. So we discuss about real depth and apparent depth. So here we are considering a tank. Okay, an object is at this position. O is the object. And if we are viewing that object, what happens? Two rays are needed, no? So from here rays are going like this. And if a ray is going like this, if we are considering, okay, see, interface between them, ray is moving like this. So what happens to that ray? It will bend, since it moves from here, it bends away from the normal. No? So this angle we can mark it as angle of incidence, and this angle is angle of refraction. So it is traveling from denser medium to air. This is air, okay, air or vacuum. It is traveling from denser medium to air. So what will happen to that ray that we have seen? I is angle of incidence. It will bend away from the normal because it is moving from denser to rarer medium. Okay. Now we can find an expression for refractive index in terms of sin I and sin r. No. How we can write? Sin I by sin r is equal to n21, or that can be written as n2 by n1. According to Snell's law, we can write, no? According to Snell's law, sin I by sin R is equal to N21, which is equal to N2 by N1. And what is N2? Here second medium is air, its refractive index is 1, and N1, if we are assuming that the refractive index is N. Okay. If we are considering refractive index of the medium as N, we can write sin I by sin R is equal to 1 by N. Okay. Now we can find I, and from this triangle we can consider and we can find the value of sin I and sin R. For that, what we are doing is that we can so here this angle is R, so we can write this angle also R, this angle is I, this angle also will be I. So we can consider the triangle OAB and IAB. So from triangle OAB we can write, from triangle OAB, sin I is equal to AB by OB. No? Sin I is equal to AB by OB. Similarly, from triangle IAB, we can write sin R is equal to AB by IB. So if our I is here, our I is there. So if the ray is very far away, we cannot see that one. No? So we can say that, we can consider that it should be, this ray should be very much closer to the eye, then only we can see that. So we can say that this BI is approximately equal to AB. Okay, BI can be approximately, OB can be approximately written as OA, and BI can be approximately written as BA. Okay, so instead of OB, we can write it as, OA. Similarly, instead of IB, we can write it as AB. Instead of IB, we can write it as IB. Okay, why it is? If it is very much closer only, we can see. Okay, is it clear? Now we can find sin I by sin R. What you will get? Sin I by sin R is equal to AB by OA divided by AB by IA, or that is equal to IA by OA. And that is equal to, again we can write it as 1 by N. Or we can write a refractive index is equal to this, we can write. From this we can write N is equal to OA by IA. What is OA? It is the real depth, actual depth, and here will be the image form. Okay. We can write real depth divided by apparent depth. For refractive index, we can find in terms of real depth and apparent depth. So if an object is here, it appears to be raised this much. This angle of refraction is this much larger. It will not be this much larger value. It will be lesser than this. That's why it will be very much closer to this only. Okay. Only slight variation will be there. Not this much variation will not be. Okay. Is it clear? Depending on the angle, it may change. Okay. So we can say that refractive index can be written as real depth divided by apparent depth. So actually this object is here, but it appears to be here. That much. Normally there will be a shift in the position of the object if the object is viewed from a rarer medium to denser medium. Okay. Is it clear? So this is about real depth and apparent depth. And from this Find normal shift. Normal shift means the actually object is here and it appears to be here. So this difference, that is known as normal shift. The height or the distance up to which that object is raised, seems to be raised, that is known as normal shift. So we can find an expression for normal shift. Normal shift is equal to actual position is OA minus AI. OA minus AI. And already we discussed refractive index is equal to real depth divided by apparent depth real depth by apparent depth, or we have written what is real depth? Real depth is OA and apparent depth is AI. So instead of AI we can write OA by N. So what we will get? OA minus OA by N, or we can write OA into 1 minus 1 by N. And if OA is T, the thickness of that medium, if it is if the thickness of the medium is T, thickness of the medium means its actual depth. Okay. So in that case we can write normal shift is equal to T into 1 minus 1 by. Okay. T into 1 minus 1 by. Okay. Is it clear? So like that, if so many immiscible medias are there, what will happen? Each having thickness T1, T2, T3, etc. So many immiscible medias are there. In that case, we can write the normal shift. If, for example, 2 immiscible media are present, having thickness T1 and T2 and refractive index N1 and N2, then in that case normal shift can be written as normal shift is equal to T1 into 1 minus 1 by N1 due to first, plus T2 into 1 minus 1 by N2. Okay, like that, if n are there, so many like that you can add it. Okay, it will be normal shift will be getting added up. Okay, is it clear? Any doubt? This is why you can see that if you are keeping a glass slab above that paper, you can see that letters to be raised. Letters to be raised. Okay, because of this normal shift. Okay. Next application is advanced sunrise and delayed sunset. Advanced sunrise and delayed sunset. That already you have studied. So if this is horizon and if sun is here below the horizon, the rays are coming from the sun. As it comes, it bends and bends, and finally, if a person is standing here, for him the rays are coming like this. So what happens? He will see the ray. He will see the sun by projecting it exactly backward. So he will see the sun at this position. So actually sun is below the horizon, but he can see sun above the horizon because of this atmospheric refraction, because the condition of atmosphere is at each and every level, at each and every part of the atmosphere, refractive index is changing. Because of the varying refractive index, atmospheric refraction takes place, and hence sun actually at this position it appears to be here. Similarly, delayed sunset also possible because of atmospheric refraction. Okay, is it clear? And next we will discuss about total internal reflection. Total internal reflection. Total internal reflection means this is the phenomenon observed when light is traveling from denser to rarer medium. Okay, denser, it is moving from denser to rarer medium. So here we are drawing the normal. So a ray of light is incident. Okay. So what will happen? If a ray of light is incident from denser to rarer medium, it will bend away from the normal. No? It will bend away from the normal, which means angle of incidence will be less than angle of refraction. Again, if we are increasing the angle of incidence, okay, what happens? We are increasing the angle of incidence, angle of refraction also increases. Why it increases? Because we know that this ratio sin I by sin r should be constant for a given pair of media and for a given color of light. So if I increases, r also will increase. So that ratio n2 by n1, that should be constant. Now for a particular angle, again if we are increasing, what we can see is that we are increasing the angle of incidence. So we can see that this angle of refraction becomes 90 degree. Angle of refraction becomes 90 degree. Okay. So we are increasing the angle of incidence slowly. So as angle of incidence increases, angle of refraction also increases. For a particular angle of incidence, angle of refraction becomes 90 degree. Again, if you are increasing, what will happen? If we are increasing angle of incidence again. So now whether that ray will go to the next medium? No chance. It will come back to the same medium. And this phenomenon is known as total internal reflection. Okay. So total internal reflection means reflection of light to the same medium when it travels from denser to rarer medium. That phenomenon is known as total internal reflection. And for total internal reflection to take place, two conditions are there. First condition is known as, first condition we can say that conditions for total internal reflection. Total internal reflection. Conditions for total internal reflections to take place. First condition is that light should travel from denser to rarer medium. Light should travel from denser to rarer medium. And second condition that we can say that, I told you that for a particular angle of incidence, this angle of refraction becomes 90 degree. And this angle we will call it as critical angle. So how can we define critical angle? Critical angle, how we can define? The angle of incidence in the denser medium. The angle of incidence in the denser medium at which angle of refraction becomes 90 degree. This is very important. This angle is known as critical angle. We used to represent it as C. The critical angle means angle of incidence in the denser medium at which, what is the specialty? The angle of refraction will become 90 degree. It is the angle of incidence. Not only enough, you have to mention that in the denser medium at which angle of refraction becomes 90 degree. that angle is known as critical angle. So second condition is that angle of incidence should be greater than critical angle. So two conditions are there. Light should travel from denser to rarer medium. Then angle of incidence should be greater than critical angle. Then only total internal reflection will take place. Okay. And we can find what is the critical angle for different media that we can calculate. So if we are considering the light is traveling from denser to air. Okay. So in that case we can find an expression for the critical angle. So we can write, according to Snell's law, we can write sin I by sin R is equal to N21, or we can write it as N2 by N1. Here second medium is air, and if that medium is having refractive index, if its refractive index, if we are writing it as N, so we can write sin I by sin R is equal to 1 by N. So for critical angle we can write sin C by sin 90 is equal to sin 90 is 1, so we can write refractive index is equal to 1 by sin C. Refractive index we can find in terms of vertical angle, or critical angle we can find if we know the refractive index. Okay, is it clear? So this is the way of finding critical angle. N is equal to 1 by sin C, or sin C is equal to 1 by N. By using that we can find critical angle. Okay. So now we will discuss about the applications of total internal reflection. Applications of total internal reflection. Which are the applications? First one, the sparkling of diamond. We know that the refractive index of diamond is given, which is having the highest value of refractive index, which is equal to 2.42. Because of its highest value of refractive index, critical angle will be very, very small. Critical angle will be small. Critical angle is small means if light is incident more than critical angle. Since critical angle is small, whenever light is incident, what happens? Total internal reflection takes place because of that it shines. So the diamond will be cut in such a way that whenever light is incident, because of its larger value of refractive index or smaller value of critical angle, total internal reflection takes place, and hence diamond shines or sparkles. Okay, is it clear? And another application is in optical fibers. You might have seen decorative lamps with like this type of decorative lamps. You might have seen there at the end only you can see some dots. If light is on, you can see at the end you can see some dots. You might have seen decorative lamps. So we know that light travels in a straight line. Here, even though that tube is bent, also light is traveling because of the phenomenon of total internal reflection. This is what happens in optical fibers. So in optical fibers, what happens? There will be a core will be there and a cladding will be there. Okay. This will be cladding, and here core will be there. Refractive index of core will be more than cladding. So what happens? And if the light is incident in such a way that if satisfies the condition for total internal reflection. When it travels here, it is traveling from denser to rarer medium. Total internal reflection condition satisfied, so it will reflect. Again, when it reaches here, it will reflect. So like that, it can be passed through any bent or any curved tube. Okay, is it clear? This is what happens in optical fibers. The two material will be the one core and cladding. Refractive index of core will be more than cladding, and light will be incident in such a way that it satisfies the condition of total internal reflection, because already we can decide the refractive index of the core and cladding. If we know, we can find for which angle total internal reflection is taking place. For which angle, what is the value of critical angle, we can find. By knowing the critical angle, we can find if the light is incident more than critical angle, total internal reflection takes place. Okay, so by using that, we can decide this decorative lamps and those. And not only that, it has medical importance also. In endoscopy, we are using optical fibers for medical examination. In endoscopy, to get the image of various inner organisms, various inner organs, we are using optical fiber. Okay, to get the image of various inner organs, by using optical fibers, we are getting. We can find, or in endoscopy, we are using optical fibers. Similarly, in communication system, telecommunication and all those, nowadays optical fibers are used for communication purpose. Okay, instead of overhead cables, we are using optical fibers for communication. Okay, is it clear? So these are the various applications of total internal reflection. One more application is that we will discuss about totally reflecting prisms. Okay, to deviate a ray through So here, for all these purposes, we are using an isosceles prism, 90 degree, 45 degree, 45 degree prism. Normally, we used to use equilateral prism, but here, for all 2-3 cases are there. In all those cases, we are using 90 degree, 45 degree, 45 degree prism, which means equilateral, isosceles prism we are using. Okay, not equilateral prism. Okay. So one angle is 90 degree. Here an object is kept. Whenever light is incident, here light is incident. So here whenever light is incident on this first phase AB, what happens? It will travel straight line only without any bend. It will move. Why it is moving? There is no refraction. Refraction is applicable only for oblique incidents. Since it is incident normally, it will follow the same path. When it reaches the surface AC, what happens is that it satisfies the condition for total internal reflection. Here angle of incidence will be greater than critical angle for the medium for that. So it will again when it reaches here, what happens? Same case, it will pass smoothly. So here our ray or object got deviated. Okay, so we can deviate a ray through 90 degree by using an isosceles prism. Okay, is it clear? Understood? No. Next case we will discuss. An image of deviation of ray of 90 degree. Deviation of ray by 180 degree. To invert an image by deviation of ray by 180 degree. So here also our isosceles prism only, but only one difference is that how it is arranged, that only makes difference. Here it should be kept in such a way that our hypotenuse should be here. So this angle is 90 degree, seems to be 90 degree. Otherwise, when you are drawing, it should be exactly 90 degree. Okay. So here, a ray of light, an object is kept. So it will be incident, it will go undeviated like this. When it reaches here, total internal reflection takes place. Again, when it comes here, total reflection takes place, so that our ray will be inverted by using. We can invert an image by using an isosceles prism. Okay, so how it is arranged, that is very important. By turning the positions, you can see that in first case we are deviating that ray to 90 degree. Here we are deviating that ray through 180 degree. Okay, is it clear? Now one more case is that we will discuss now. To invert an image without deviation. To invert an image without deviation. So here our hypotenuse should be lower. So this angle should be 90 degree. Okay. What seems to be 90 degree, no? Okay, we can manage. So here an object is kept here. Here it will bend. Here also it bends. When it reaches here, again it bends. When it comes here, it will. So what happens? Here only. So here you can see that only in this phase only total internal reflection takes place. In this surface AB and AC, no total internal reflection takes place. Only on the surface BC, total internal reflection takes place. Why on the surface AB and AC, total internal reflection is not taking place? Because it is traveling from rarer to denser medium. And here, even though it is traveling from denser to rarer medium, no total internal reflection takes place because condition is not satisfied. Okay. So here, our image will be inverted. Even though it is inverted, but no deviation is there. So in second case, what happens? It is inverted with a deviation of 180 degree. So these are the various uses of total internal reflection by using totally reflecting prisms. They are isosceles prism with 45 degree, 90 degree angle. Those prisms are used for this purpose. Okay, is it clear? So today we discussed about the practical applications of atmospheric refraction and total internal reflection, and some of the practical applications of total internal reflection. I hope all of you understood it. If you are having any doubt, you can contact me.